All right. Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Abal Sam Etta, aka Sam Sticks, aka that's fresh, yummy hot chocolate. Welcome back to this channel. I see my subscriptions are really increasing by the day. If you are yet to subscribe, do well to smash that subscribe button. Also share my videos, that way it gets to a wider audience. And I noticed recently that it's non-subscribers who are actually viewing my videos more often. Guys, I mean, it doesn't cost a thing. Just support your boy, so we keep going. Like they say, we rise by lifting others. So on today, I have a guest. I uploaded a video some weeks ago about dual studium in Germany. So I wanted you guys to hear directly from someone who is actually doing dual studium here in Germany. So if you have any questions after this watching this video, you can leave it in the comment section and we'll be sure to respond back to you. Without wasting any more time, let's get right into this video. So, do maybe introduce yourself, tell us who you are, and yeah.
All right, so my name is Dumebi. I'm from Nigeria originally, 24 years old, and I've been living in Germany since 2021. So I moved here specifically for to further my education, and currently I'm studying computer science. It's a dual studium, so I work and I go to school at the same time. The way it's structured is that you go to school for 3 months and then you go to work for the other 3 months and you keep on interchanging between the both of them. So that's about me.
Okay. So where exactly do you school and then where exactly do you work?
All right, so I work at the Commerzbank. It's a bank in Germany, one of the top banks in Germany. So I work in the IT department, and for my studies, I go to the Berufsakademie in Rödermark. So it's outside of Frankfurt, about 40 minutes with the train directly from the main station all the way to Rödermark.
Okay, great.
All right.
That's a really nice resume you've got there. So let's go directly into some of the questions I have. So
Mm-hmm.
tell us, what is dual studium, which is dual studies in English, dual studium program in Germany? What is this program all about?
Exactly. So basically, dual studium is for people who are probably more interested in practical experience while getting their bachelor's degree. The whole idea is that while you're getting the theoretical knowledge from the university, you also have the opportunity to apply the knowledge that you get from the university on a practical platform. So there are different structures for it. Some people have their dual studium in a block model. So that basically means you go to university and then while you're in the university, you're just focusing on your studies and then you go to work. And then there's the other model where you go to university and you go to work at the same time. But the whole idea is to gain practical knowledge while you're getting the theoretical knowledge as well. And even when you're in the university, most of the coursework you're doing is done with the view of getting knowledge that you're also able to apply in the workforce. So it's not necessarily just theory and a lot of research, but more practical knowledge that is also being able to that's going to be applied once you get to work as well.
Okay. So in this dual studium, are there types of dual studium?
Not really. And what do you mean by types of dual studium?
So I don't know, maybe I might be wrong, but I was just
Mm-hmm.
like reading about it and I discovered that there are like three basic types of dual studium, which is training integrated, practice integrated, and career integrated. So the training combines the degree program with the training in recognized occupation. And then the
Mm-hmm.
practical integrated is an alternative study phase with practical phase in a company, which is the one you are doing. And
Yeah.
then career integrated is it combines academic studies with vocational uh, further training, often through self-study similar to distance learning. So I
Ah,
don't
okay,
know
okay.
if yeah.
Okay, so the first one you discussed with the integrated vocational study is you have
Yeah.
your BSc at the end of the program, but you also have the opportunity to get the IHK certificate. So the
Ah,
IHK certificate is what you get in Germany once you're done with your Ausbildung. And the
Okay.
second thing you discuss is what I'm currently doing. So is you just go to the university while also going to work, and you get, once you're done, you get your BSc. And then the third option that you described is, in German they call it berufsbegleitend Studium. That basically means you're working and then you're studying part time.
Okay.
So the first one is a dual studium with an additional Ausbildung certificate, while the third one is normal BSc, but you're currently in the workforce and not necessarily focused too much on your studies. I think it's more
Okay.
for people that are probably maybe have a full time job, also have a family they're trying to raise, but are still
Yeah.
interested in getting a BSc.
Okay.
So people in that kind of situation would probably be more interested in the third one.
Okay. So, what would you say are the advantages of applying for dual studium in Germany?
All right. So obviously the major advantage and the whole point of the dual studium is the practical knowledge you get. And so if you went to a regular university, most of the time what happens at the end of the day is that you have this theoretical knowledge and
Yeah.
you don't necessarily have practical experience. And so
True.
the dual stream is for people who are probably more interested in getting that practical knowledge as well as the theoretical knowledge. The second advantage is also the fact that because you've been able to work and gain practical experience, you're probably more equipped to join the workforce immediately. And there's not
Mm.
necessarily a whole time that needs to be invested in teaching you about how to apply the knowledge you've already gotten because you've been doing that for the period of the 3 years that you were studying. And for
Yeah.
most people that are doing a dual studium, they usually have the opportunity to join the company where they're doing their dual studium on a full-time basis. Yeah, depending on how your contract is structured. For some people, the company might also be responsible for paying your tuition fees while you're studying. And so it also makes sense that they kind of get a return on their investment once you're done with your degree, in which they kind of employ you for a period of 2 years. And then you can decide if you want to continue working with them or go to a different company.
All right. So, where exactly can an international student or anyone who is interested in this program, where can they pursue it in Germany? How can they go about it?
All right. So most of the openings for the dual studium are usually posted on the company's website.
Okay.
There are also different websites that usually have a posting of all the dual students that are currently being considered in Germany.
Hmm.
I guess we could put that on the link later on. But for
Yeah.
me personally, what I did, I just went on the internet and I typed in dual studium in computer science in Frankfurt in Germany, and then I had a bunch of options that came up. And usually, once you click on the link, it takes you directly to the company's website, where you
Okay.
go through the whole process of application. And yeah, you have to go through an interview as well. It's basically like you're applying for a regular job. And then once you get in, the company handles the whole matriculation process with the university themselves. So you don't need to go through that. That's the first option. Another option is you go directly to the university. So it also depends on the university you apply to. But sometimes you go to the university, you apply there. And once you've gotten admission into the university, then you have to find a partner company that you're going to work with during the process of your during the duration of your dual studium. And so those are
Yeah.
usually the two options that exist in aiming to pursue your dual studium in Germany.
Yeah. So it's either you go through directly through the company or through a university who is also offering such.
Exactly.
So, but
Exactly.
most of the universities offering has to be partners with some of these companies, right?
Yeah, so the university I'm going is the
Yeah.
Berufs Academy. They usually have a partnership with companies already. And so
Okay.
most of the time you probably go through the company and then the company sends your documents to the university to kind of matriculate you into the university. And then there are regular universities like in Frankfurt, we have the University of Applied Sciences, and they also
Mm.
offer a dual studium. But there you could go there and apply to the university directly and then kind of have to go on your own to find a company that you're able to partner with to carry out your dual studium at their company. what I would advise is to apply directly to the company that you're interested in, because the whole process is usually a lot more easier, and then you don't have to go through the whole process of applying to the university as well.
Okay, nice, nice. All right. So, in all of these processes, what is the language of instruction? Is it, do you need Germany and Deutsch, sorry, or you need
Yeah.
English?
So the university, the courses are taught in German,
Okay.
and that basically means you have to have be proficient in the German language to study at the university.
At what level?
C1,
Oh, okay,
C1,
nice.
C1 is what is required to study at the university in Germany.
Okay.
I think generally speaking, at all universities in Germany, you need to be on C1 level to study at the university if the language of instruction is in German. At the
Okay.
company, it usually depends on the company. If you're working in a more international company, then it is more likely you're going to be speaking English because you have a lot of colleagues all over the world. And so I would say to do a dual studium in Germany, it's very important that you have English and German as language skills to be
Nice.
successful while you're studying.
Yeah. All right. So, guys, you just have to learn German. That's another thing. Like,
Yeah.
either ways, it's advantageous to you because even if you finish this program, you have the Deutsch proficiency. You can live your life in Germany
Hmm.
hassle free with the language. So don't see that it's a stress. It's a win-win situation for you. So just so you know, there are popular fields of study for dual studium. So there's engineering, which has over 800 programs. There's business and management, which has more than also 600 programs. There's computer science, which do maybe belongs to, which has around 200 programs. And then there's the social welfare, architecture, and design. So tell us, how do an international student get to apply for dual studio in Germany? What are the process?
Right. So I really don't know how it works for people outside of Germany, but I think if you're
Okay,
living in Germany, then you probably have to go through the same processes that somebody would go through if they were going to study at a regular university. So that means you have to have the necessary language certificates, and then also the necessary academic documents. So being from Nigeria, you would have to go through student colleague if you haven't studied in a Nigerian university already.
okay,
And once you go through student colleague, then you can apply for your dual studium.
okay,
Another option as well is usually a lot of people start university in their home country and then move to Germany. So if you did that already, then you wouldn't have to go through the whole process of student colleague. But I think the most important thing is to know how your certificates at home compare to your certificates in here in Germany. So the whole process is called Anerkennung. And once you're able to certify that your documents allow you to study in Germany, then you can study at any university, including the ones offering a dual studium.
okay. So basically, for international students, I don't know whatever country you might be applying from or you come from, there are some requirements here. You need to meet eligibility criteria, including a higher secondary school living certificate and a German
Mhm.
language proficiency, usually B2 or C1 level, just as you maybe said. And you
Yeah.
need to secure a contract with a partnering company before beginning your studies. And
Right.
then the fourth thing is you need to apply to both the company and the university offering the program. So
Right.
you might be asking yourself now, what exactly are the challenges? I'll just allow you maybe just tell us a brief, maybe some challenges international student might face before maybe I say any other thing. Yeah.
Right. I would say the biggest challenge is usually the language. But if you're able to master the language, and you don't need to speak on the most proficient level. I just want to make that very clear, because from my personal experiences, there are lots of people that I've started studying with that don't speak the best German. But you need
Yeah.
to be able to communicate. You need to be able to understand the language as well. And I think once you have that, then you should go ahead to apply. especially if you're applying to international companies. They're usually a lot more considerate in terms of the people they allow into their companies. They also understand that you're here for the long term, and so you
Yeah.
don't need to be the most fluent person speaking the language as long as you show the ability to learn and you're interested in what it is they are trying to teach you. You have a very good shot at getting in. I'd say that's the major challenge. Obviously, finding the company, going through the whole process of interviews and making sure that your documents are also up to par is a challenge as well. But I think once you're able to get that handled, then you have a very good shot of getting in. And just because you also previously mentioned that one of the requirements is to have a contract with the company and also get into the university. Like I said earlier, once you have a contract with the company, especially if you apply directly to the company, usually the company handles the whole process of getting into the university. So it's not
Mm,
something you would have to worry about or handle yourself.
okay.
The most
Okay.
important part of the application process is getting into the company itself.
Yeah. Do you
All
think
right.
the entire process is time consuming?
It definitely is, especially if you're like for myself, I applied to about 50 different companies before I got
Oh,
into the program. So obviously, it takes a lot of time, but I think it's worth it at the end.
yeah.
It's very fulfilling, especially if you're studying what it is you want to study. You learn a lot as well, not just the theoretical aspect, but the practical experience as well. So it's time consuming, but it's worth it at the end.
Yeah. So, like he said, there's limited availability of English language programs. So, making good German proficiency is really crucial. And
Hmm.
also, visa related issues depending on the country of origin you come from. So, every country has its own issues concerning visa. Some they are really prompt, and others take a lot of time. So, when you're done with the dual studium program,
Yeah.
what kind of certificate do you get? Do you get like a degree certificate, like a bachelor's, or you get like two different certificates?
So it depends. Like the university I'm going, once I'm done with the degree, I get a regular BSc. But then we also have the opportunity to get the IHK certificate, which is the Ausbildung. But for that, you would have to do further studies and then also write an examination. But in the normal, what happens normally is that you get your BSc from the university,
Okay. So
and it's
apart from the
also
BSc, yeah,
and it's
sorry to
also
cut you.
like
Go
it's
ahead.
also a degree that is recognized internationally. Because a lot of
Oh,
people think
nice.
like having a dual studium doesn't give you recognition all over the world, but it's the same level of recognition that a regular BSc has from any other university in Germany.
I think it's even better because then you stand out because you have both theoretical knowledge and practical knowledge.
Practical
You
experience,
know.
exactly.
So, but those who are like from regular universities just get theory and then a BSc or master certificate, and but they
Mm-hmm.
don't have experience in the field. You know.
Yes,
So,
exactly.
I mean, if someone is out there, they'll definitely want to go for people who have gone through like practical knowledge because they are in the field. They know what goes inside the company and all of those things. So, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it's worth doing, I would say. It's worth doing. So the main important thing is what are the financial benefits of the dual studium program in Germany?
Yeah, so obviously, as because you're also working for a company, you also get paid while you're doing your dual studium. So for me, I'm at university 6 months in the year, and for the rest of the year I'm at work. Obviously, this happens interchangeably. So I'm at uni for 3 months, and I go to work for 3 months, and then I'm back at uni for 3 months. But then during the course of the year, you get paid, regardless of whether you're at university or you're at work. And so that's obviously the financial benefit of it for people that might be coming into the country and also need to take care of themselves financially. Maybe they're not getting enough support from their countries or they're living alone here. It also makes sense to get started with a dual studium because of the financial benefits as well.
So you get paid regularly from the company. But if you're applying for a visa, what document do you need to show as a proof of um, is it fun that you can actually take care of yourself, or does the contract from the company covers that
No, no. So usually, I think it's really hard to get into a dual studium if you're not already in Germany.
in Germany?
So,
Okay.
exactly. So I think for people that are coming into the country, it would make sense to go through the regular process of applying to the regular universities in Germany. And then once you
Mm-hmm.
get into Germany, you can decide
Let's
to
switch.
pivot into a different program, the
Mm,
dual studium, because
okay.
yeah, you also need to go through the whole process of interviews and meeting with the company representatives. And I think it's a lot harder to do if you're still living outside of the country.
Nice. So, like
Yeah.
Dumebi rightly says, I mean, this depends on the company you're working for. So, most company pay like monthly. Do you call it stipend? Let's say salary,
I'll say salary.
monthly salary, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, salary from depends from 7 to 1,500 euros per month. And also, the steady income eliminates the need for outside jobs during studies. So you have ample amount of money coming from the company, which can take care of your needs in Germany. Again, depending on the city where you are in Germany. And one of the biggest thing I like about this is that the company actually covers your tuition, so you don't have to pay any tuition fees from your personal money. So what would
Yes,
you
but
say at the career? Yeah, go ahead.
can I add something to that? There's also a
Yeah,
caveat to
sure.
that, right? So, for a lot of the companies that are paying for your tuition fees, usually is also stated in your contract that once you are done with your degree and you graduated with good results, so usually above a 2.5, and the company decides to offer you a contract. It's different in different companies, but usually this is how it goes: is that if the company offers you a contract, then you have to accept it and work for the company for a period of 2 years because they pay their tuition fee. And the whole idea behind it is that the company also gets a return on their investments. Now, if you decide to not work for the company for whatever reason, maybe you didn't like it during the period of your dual studium, then you are required to
Way back.
pay back the company the tuition fees they paid for you. So yeah,
Wow.
it makes sense if you got into a good company and you're happy in the company and everything worked out fine. But also
Yeah.
understand that there's a possibility that you might have to pay back the company what they paid for your tuition fees if for whatever reason it doesn't work out between the both of you.
So that's like a low point about this whole
Yeah, so
program.
there's a lot of advantages, but there are also disadvantages that need to be
Yeah.
considered as well.
I mean, in every good thing, you definitely will have like a disadvantage. It's just left for you
Mm.
to decide what you really want and what works for you.
Right.
So yeah. So would you say in all that like going through a regular university or through the dual student program, which is more preferable? Because right now, no anyone watching this video will be like, okay, so what exactly should I go for? Should I stick to a regular program or I just go through what's it called, the dual student program? And also, is it possible to get like, can you also do like a master's program or is just a bachelor's program? So this is like a two-in-one question.
All right. So to answer the first question, I think it's different strokes for different folks. So you need to kind of decide what it is you want. If you're very interested in getting practical knowledge as well as the theoretical knowledge, then I would say go for a dual studium. If the financial advantages also appeal to you, then it makes sense to go for that as well. Or if you're more interested in research and going in depth into the topics that you're going to be studying at the university, then I would say you should go to a regular university, because as much as we also get theoretical knowledge, in comparison to what the regular universities do, there's obviously a difference in how in depth we go into topics. Right. So it depends on the person and what exactly it is they want to get at from their degree. To answer the second question was, could you also
Like
go on to do a master's
like
with the
yeah,
dual degree? Right. So
yeah.
like I said, it's internationally recognized. So you can still go on to do a master's in any other university in Germany or abroad once you are done
Okay,
with your dual studies.
great. So, just one thing for those who will be watching this video is that the dual study program offers numerous advantages. I mean, international students should be prepared for challenges such as the need for strong German language skills and the intensive workload of combining study and work. So maybe
Mm-hmm.
you need to stress the emphasis on study and work here, because now it's different from when you're working for, like, maybe I'm schooling in a regular university and I'm working part-time for a company, but
Yeah.
this is different because you're schooling and also working for one company. So you need to be prepared for the workload, because there are times when you might face enormous workload from your company. And then so wait, before I continue, is it possible to sign the contract and then along the line you just get tired of the whole process, or workload is so much for you, you don't like it, you maybe you lost interest in doing the program, can you opt out of the contract?
Right. So I think that's a complicated question because it also depends on the contract you sign. But usually, if if you started the program, so first of all, there's a probation period, I think, of 6 months, where you start work, and then if you decide to leave, you can leave without having to give a reason of why you're leaving. But then
Mm,
after the probation period, it's more complicated to opt out of your contract because they've already started paying towards your degree. I guess if you really wanted to leave and there's nothing the company could do to keep you on with them, then you might have to pay back the money that they've already paid for you. So obviously that the financial consequences of that. But I think even if you opt out, you could still go on to study in a regular university,
okay.
especially if you had written some exams and also did well in them. So you wouldn't have to start all the way from the beginning in a regular university.
So, are there any requirement from the company that you must have like good results in all of your courses? Like you must
All right.
have 1.0 in all of your courses, or it doesn't
No,
matter?
I think that's probably also very company specific, but for the most part, as long as you're having an averagely good result, then
Yeah.
it's perfectly fine. Obviously, you shouldn't be failing all your courses, but as long as it's not terrible, then you're fine. For
All
for for
right.
most dual studies, is also stated in your contract what they're expecting from you
Mm, okay.
in terms of the
So,
least result that you should be getting.
make sure you read the contract from the
Yeah,
beginning to
that's
the
very
end, word
important.
for word, before
All
you
right.
put your signature to that contract.
And
So, however,
let me add one more thing though, because you
yeah,
kind of mentioned it earlier as well. So, like I said, is 3 months interchanging between the company and university. So in regular universities, you usually have a period of holidays which tend to be very long. I'm not really sure about how long it is, but I think in the summer it gets up to 3 months where you have 3 months holidays. In a dual study, you don't really have holidays. So when you're at uni for 3 months and then you go back to work as well. But you have 30 days holidays that you are only able to take during the course of your practice phase. So while you're at the workplace, and so I guess that also ties into how stressful the dual study could be. Whereas the regular universities have loads of holidays, you don't necessarily have the advantage of that as well. So that's also a disadvantage I think should be considered.
all right. So, for those who can actually manage this aspect, dual study programs provide a unique opportunity to gain academic qualifications, practical skills, and financial stability while studying in Germany. So,
Yeah.
what would be your last words for people who are watching this video concerning dual study program?
My last word would be just I think it's very important to be aware of the advantages and the disadvantages. Let it be very clear to you what it is. I think also in terms of choosing companies, because you don't necessarily have the opportunity to go from one company to another during the course of your program. So make sure you do your due diligence about what the company is able to offer you in terms of your great opportunities and a learning path. Because I've met a lot of people that started in a specific company and then they got started and realized that they're not able to adequately apply the knowledge that they're getting in the university, because the projects that the company might be working on are not innovative enough. And so make sure you ask questions about that a lot, especially for people that are working in very technical fields. I think nobody wants to go to university, spend all this time learning and gaining knowledge and not have the opportunity to apply them as well. So during your interview process, try to make sure you ask a lot of questions about that as well.
Yeah.
All right.
Nice. So I just want to say a big thank you to you, Dumebi, for taking our time out of your holidays to grant this interview section. I
My
really do
pleasure, man.
appreciate. Yeah. And so for this is where we wrap up this video. If you are yet to subscribe to my YouTube channel, smash that subscribe button. Also give this video a thumbs up by liking this video and share this video, that way it gets to wider audience. Until the next one. I love you guys. Stay focused, stay motivated. Adios.
Adios.